Hi, I'm Nathan Glazer. I'm a Civil War reenactor, and I have been for most of my life. And before I was officially a reenactor, I was hanging around the Civil War camps. So the Civil War has been a gigantic influence on me in my life, and I think in a very positive way. So I'm making a YouTube channel here in hopes of showing some of the positive influences I've had to you all. I want to get facts out there. I definitely want to get some Civil War facts out there and things that maybe they don't have time in history class to teach you. I'm also hoping you'll enjoy a little bit more visual look versus reading it in a book. So I'm hoping you will like that interpretation of history that we'll present here. I also want to get you to know some of the people that have influenced me in a positive way in my life and the knowledge that they have, both about the Civil War and life. And then I want to take all of that and put it together and make us think about how we can apply history. Because history is applied so we can make our lives and our country better in the future. That's what it's there for, so that we can use the knowledge others have gained through hard work to make our lives better and do better things after that. And I think in 2025, the United States is very polarized, and we could use some of the lessons that we learned during the Civil War to help us get through this time. So I'm hoping that our conversations will show you what I've learned through my reenacting career and how to apply it today to make the world a better place. So I invite you on this journey with me. I hope you will enjoy it and enjoy the discussions. If you're looking to get into reenacting, I'm hoping that this will be a good spot for you to get a start. To know what to look for, how to get started. If you just want history facts, I hope that's here for you as well. And for overall, I also want to introduce you to some of these people that I have such a high opinion of because they've helped form me into the person that I am today. And then lastly, I hope we can take all that together, realize how similar we all are in this country, what we've all been through and what we're going through now. And I hope that the knowledge and information in this podcast will show us that we can come together and learn from history and be better now in our present and make a better future for us.
You may be wondering, why do I reenact the Civil War? I started reenacting in 1997. I was in middle school, so the common answer for most things on my mind, and one of the reasons I reenact it is, well, girls. I needed help with the girls. I was a geek. I played clarinet in the band and always did well in school, but at that point in my life, I hadn't had much luck with the ladies. I always heard girls liked horses and girls liked rebels. So there we had it. I was in the cavalry wearing a Confederate gray uniform. Never did quite figure out why the women didn't flock to me. As I got older, reenacting, I found, was great stress relief. Dealing with school and later crazy clients, as a veterinarian, I get along with animals better than people. I found getting to a reenactment disconnected me from the world and allowed me to reset. And it's oddly relaxing charging down a field, shouting at people and clashing sabers. It was a good way to vent energy and be with my horse. I found women may not love me, but they loved my horse, so they at least were nearby at reenactments. And my horse. The bond a Civil War reenactor grows with his war horse as he travels around the country and charges across the fields is hard to explain. I have not had the honor to serve in the real military, but the explosions and fighting that occurred to my horse were real and were intense for him. He looked to me as he went through his war, and I looked to him as my brother as he followed me to every event. And my horse loved it. He loved the excitement and the charges and outperforming the other horses. And he and I loved judging all those other horses we outperformed. As a veterinarian, my horse clients all love telling me about their pole and barrel and dressage competitions. And I always smile, and if I want to get a rise out of those clients, oh, that's fun practice. All that stuff you compete with is like training for my horse. That drives them crazy. But to me, Civil War reenacting is the epitome of horse riding. Besides my horse and I judging other people and riding off into the sunset together, I did enjoy history, and I learned a lot about that as I reenacted. I started Civil War reenacting with the 6th Kentucky Cavalry, and later in my career have joined a 2nd Unit, an artillery group of Burns Battery. I have loved my reenacting career. I have had some experiences where I feel like I am living in the past, some of the most notable at Perryville, Kentucky. And then at Sacramento, Kentucky, which I think had the best reenactment in the state, I've had the most fun. School days where we help educate the youth is always entertaining, both seeing how children react and how my horse reacts. Typically he's really good with children, but once he was tired of being petted, and after hours of screaming kids, he was done with children. So he leapt over the line of children to get away from all the questions of, is that horse real? Is wearing that wool hot? And I was glad at that day to learn that he was able to jump over small children without running into them or kicking them. Anyway, excluding growing a bond with my horse, at reenacting I've learned how to be a good person and how to see other people's perspectives. The hobby is shrinking now, and that is one of the reasons I'm doing this podcast, because in reality, I probably won't be reenacting too much longer. And I want to show the perspective I have learned from this hobby. Some of the episodes in this series is me wanting to share the knowledge I have learned and help people see my perspective. And some of it is to introduce you to the people who reenact. This is my gift to my unit and to the hobby. Maybe these episodes will reach a new group of reenactors, and maybe they will educate people who haven't had the chance to come to a reenactment. The people in our episodes are just an example of the reenactors I have met over the years that have shaped me into who I am today. Reenactors are some of the hardest working and most genuine and most kind and giving people I know, and I want to share that if I can. And I guess that is why I truly reenact, not just the history, not just my horse, but the good people that I want to spend time with. These people also happen to be my family. Back in 1997, I may have said I was reenacting to impress the girls, but really it was to be with my family. My dad and uncle were big into Civil War reenacting, and I wanted to spend time with them. It was time with the family. And the people who reenact became my reenacting family, and I cherish all that time with them. Today, in 2025, our nation is divided, and we can learn a lot about how to navigate the challenges our country faces from remembering what occurred in the 1860s. The most important thing we can remember is that as family and friends and countrymen, we should be there for each other. When the dust settles, I'd rather be enjoying time with my family and friends and working hard to make the world a better place than living a life alone. Because what do I remember when I think back about all my years of reenacting? Is it the battles? Is it the conflict? Is it the long trips to the events? Is it the controversy around the reenactments? No. It's exemplified in my favorite memory, if you'll allow me to set the scene. We were at an event, my dad and I riding around in the early morning. We came across a Boy Scout camp and introduced ourselves and our horses to the Boy Scouts. The boys all got a kick out of being introduced to the horses. It was a cool morning and damp. Even though the sun was shining brightly over the hills, the tall grass in the fields was broken over from recent storms, and another storm was looming over the horizon opposite the sun at our backs. where you could see dark clouds with lightning in the distance occasionally streak across those clouds. Dad and I drew our sabers to demonstrate a saber fight, always a crowd pleaser, and we charged our horses at each other and clashed our sabers. The air was cool but heavy, and while lightning danced on the distant hillsides every time our sabers clashed, with a heavy clang the charged atmosphere ignited sparks from our sabers. Our horses twirled and sabers continued to clash, and I wasn't sure who was happier. Everyone in the crowd exclaiming with excitement for each spark, or Dad and I as we played the warriors. I haven't finished my reenacting career and hope to have many other memories. And I haven't finished this podcast, so I invite you to follow me on this journey and see where it takes us. I hope we all will learn something and become better people so we can make tomorrow a little better for everyone.